Good evening, everyone. I call this regular council meeting Tuesday, May the 21st, 2024, 7 p.m. to order and to acknowledge we are on the traditional territory of the Stahelas. Next order of business, please.
The next order of business is introduction of late items.
Is there any late items? Councillor?
Yes, Your Worship, I'm going to put a motion on the floor to rescind the state of local emergency that had happened today. There is far too much anxiety in this community. People are concerned about their insurance. The businesses are having trouble already. There's people concerned about cancellation. There was no reason for this. Therefore, I will put this on the floor just as soon as the meeting gets started. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that a motion, Councillor? So that was moved by Councillor Allen, seconded, it was moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Facio. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to speak against Councillor Jackson's motion to introduce such a late item. It is clear in the community charter that the mayor and chief executive officer of the municipality has both the authority and the responsibility to call a state of a local emergency if he deems it to be necessary. It's not a decision for the council. It's a decision for the mayor alone. The mayor has diligently attended meetings with the minister in Victoria and other mayors. And as a result of those meetings, has come to the conclusion that we need to move ahead right now with preparing the village for a very hot and dangerous summer season, fire season. He has made this decision and it is his authority to do so. And the council does not have the authority in anything that I have read to countermand or overturn the mayor's decision. The man has made the decision, he'll stick with it, and he'll be responsible for it, meaning he also is accountable to the public for it. And in the coming days, I expect that he'll be providing more explanations than we've had up to date. And I'm quite comfortable carrying on with the state of local emergency in order to make sure this village is better protected from the catastrophic fire which has hit so many communities in BC already, and it's only the beginning of May. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bidell.
Thank you. I am going to quote from the Village of Harrison Hot Springs Purchasing and Procurement Policy number 1.06. Section 7, awarding of contracts. The Chief Administrative Officer and the Financial Officer shall have the authority to award contracts up to $25,000, providing it is included in the approved financial plan. All contracts in excess of $25,000 shall be by written contract, which shall be signed by the corporate officer or the chief administrative officer, and will require a resolution of council if not already included in the financial plan. All contracts in excess of $50,000 shall be subject to a competitive process, such as a tender, request for quotes, or request for proposal. Thank you.
Councillor Facio.
Thank you, Mayor Wood. Just a brief comment here regarding bylaw to provide emergency procedures in and for the village of Harrison Hot Springs in the event of a civil emergency or disorder. I just should read the lower part here. Authority is vested in the mayor and council to act promptly and effectively to meet and deal with any emergency and to put into action in whole or in part the emergency program and guide for the village. In their absence, these emergency measures may be put into operation by a member of the executive committee or by a municipal employee designated for the purpose by the executive committee. state of emergency under Section 290 of the Municipal Act will only be declared when it is certain that the village is unable to control the emergency with its own resources and those provided by mutual aid. If council decides to declare a state of emergency, it will inform the government of British Columbia through its Minister of the Environment. Thank you.
Let me be clear. It is my opinion as mayor and chief executive officer that due to the significant threat of an interface fire, that there is imminent threat to the loss of life and property. Some people, you're going to hear all these bylaws be stated. The bylaws that some of the councillors you heard are bylaws from over 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. These bylaws have been on the table to be updated for the past at least 1 year. The bylaws, I believe, finally made it to the agenda of the last emergency management meeting for review. Again, we're talking bylaws of 30 years ago. We follow the provincial statute. The provincial statute has just gone through dramatic changes. One of the biggest changes is the must and the hopefulness of us working together with our First Nations groups. I assure you, I have started that conversation, and we have a meeting with our First Nations Stahelas tomorrow afternoon to discuss this state of local emergency. It's vital from the provincial government's new mandates that the First Nations groups are involved in the state of local emergency. It's quite clear to me that the state of local emergency under the Local Government Act is given to the authority of the mayor when the mayor believes that there's imminent threat. Let's talk about the word belief. Well, I am a licensed marine engineering officer who is retired. I have senior officer emergency training, certified again and licensed by Transport Canada. I have also certification as a marine firefighter. I have extensive knowledge, credibility for emergency management. No ship, we are, as I believe, nothing different than a ship. When there's a disaster on board ship, you have one way out to the water. What do we have in the village? We have one road in, one road out. We could have 20,000 people here on an event weekend. On a ship, there could be hundreds, there could be thousands. No ship would set sail without the proper fire protection, without the proper protection for life safety. It would not happen. It just wouldn't happen. It wouldn't even happen if you don't have the number of qualified crew on board. We have done nothing since the 2017 to 2019 interface fire report that was done. It was highlighted a number of areas which are extreme hazard conditions, and nothing has been done for over 5 years. This council has been dysfunctional, and it is the opinion of the mayor that for the protection of lives for the village of Harrison Hot Springs, that this state of emergency is absolutely necessary. So I call the question. So the question on Councillor Jackson's Facio that
Mr. Mayor, I have another comment.
Sorry,
I have another comment, please.
you made the main motion.
No, I'd like to make a comment.
You made the main motion, absolutely.
That's right. Okay.
Go ahead, Councillor. Go ahead, Councillor Jackson.
Yes. Most of us have heard the old adage about cry wolf. We grew that up with when we were a child, and we were told, don't yell for help unless you need it, because when the time comes, you may not get it because people might just think that you're kidding around. States of emergency is a very, very serious thing. We are not in a state of emergency right now in Harrison. My biggest concern also, when the real state of emergency comes up, will people respond to it? It's raining outside.
The 400 acres back there are really wet. I went into my backyard the other day and I dug down about a foot in the back. It's soaking wet in there. It has absorbed the rain. When the state of emergency is required, I will support the mayor 100%. But right now, it's not needed. Thank you.
So I call the question on Councillor Jackson's motion, which is to add the sole report or sole discussion to 14A under new business. So can I call the question? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes with Councillor Allen and the mayor opposed. Next order of business, please,
The next order of business is approval of the agenda.
as amended. Do I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Vidal. Discussion on that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Councillor Allen.
Did you personally approve all the contents of this agenda for this meeting?
I did not.
You did not. In my opinion, the agenda is illegal unless the mayor has approved the agenda.
Order, please. Order. Order, councillors. Any further discussion? So it's the approval of the agenda as amended. I call the question. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed for the reasons stated. Thank you.
Motion passes with Councillor Allen and the mayor opposed. Next order of business, please.
The next order of business is adoption of council minutes.
So item A, that the special council meeting minutes of April 25th, 2024 be adopted. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Vidal. Errors or omissions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item B, that the special council meeting minutes of April 30th, 2024 be adopted. Do I have a mover? Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Allen. Errors or omissions? Seeing none, ready to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes with Councillor Facio opposed. And item C, that the regular council meeting minutes of May 6, 2024 be adopted. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Jackson, seconded by Councillor Vidal. Errors or omissions? Seeing none, call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. The next order of business is business arising from the minutes. Do you have any business arising from the minutes? Councillor Facio?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Wood. This is from the May 6th, page 9B. Where are you? Nine B. Oh, here we go. I noticed that at that meeting, Mayor Wood, you had not accepted Councillor Vidal's vote because she was counted out of the meeting.
I'm going to interrupt you, Councillor Facio. You said page 9B.
Yeah, page 9 at the bottom. And meeting be adjourned at 9:25 p.m.
Page 9B is a letter dated March 27th from Port Alberni.
Yeah, that's in regards to the procedural sections of Community Charter Procedure Bylaw. You wrote it that would be withdrawn from the agenda.
Councillor Fidel or Facio, I'm going to ask you again for clarifications here.
Yeah, Code of Conduct, B. On page 9, you wrote it out.
Page 9B on mine is letter dated March 27th, 2024 from Port Alberni.
Report of Chief, this is page black 15, 9 small.
Okay, page 15.
Right, Mr. Mayor, where are we? On page 15
We're
of the
page
agenda
15
package?
of
Page 15.
15 of the large numbers and 9 of the small number.
Well, the large numbers are the agenda package, the small numbers are the actual minutes.
That's what I'm asking, it's the
Order,
actual minutes
order,
I'm referring to.
Order, please. Please. So it's page 15 then, item B. Sorry, Councillor Facio, can you start over, please?
Yeah, thank you. It's in regards to be reported to Chief Administrative Officer regarding the Code of Conduct. Mayor Wood ruled this item out of order due to sections of Community Charter and Council Procedure Bylaw. And Councillor Vidal requested on a point of order, Mayor Wood advised that the ruling was to move on. Councillor Vidal refused to leave the meeting. She was asked to leave the meeting, yet at the bottom, moved by Mayor Wood, seconded by Councillor Jackson at 9:25, you accepted Councillor Vidal's vote. Opposed, Councillor Facio, Jackson and Vidal. Is that a mistake or did that?
To the corporate officer.
On a point of order, Mr. Mayor, what
Go ahead.
Councillor Facio may be referring to is an error in the minutes. It should have been dealt with when we were dealing with approving the minutes, and we didn't do that. If you think that there is an error, and my recollection is that having ruled Councillor Vidal out of order, you did not recognize her to speak or to vote. So I believe that it is an error. And if you can think of a way, or the corporate officer can think of a way to correct the entry at the bottom of page 15 of this agenda package by removing "and Vidal" from that penultimate line, I think that would correct the matter. Thank you.
We don't know that for sure.
Order, please. Order, councillors. Order, please, councillors.
Yeah.
To the corporate officer, please.
Thank you. I was not in attendance at that meeting. However, I did review the video a number of times to create the minutes, and I am fairly certain, without having the benefit of the video in front of me here, that that is not an error in the minutes, that that particular vote was counted. Councillor Vidal's vote was counted on that particular motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, if Councillor Facio's point is that the minutes are wrong, then we should correct them. If his point is that you allowed Councillor Vidal to vote after she had been excluded from participation, then we should probably deal with that too, but I'm not quite sure how we would do that. My recollection was that you did not recognize her after she had been excluded. Thank you.
Thank you. All you have to do is turn to the next page. Mayor Wood stated Councillor Vidal cannot request an appeal as she's already been ordered removed from the meeting. The minutes have already been approved. A resolution is passed for them.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment, please.
There's just still a motion
Yep.
on Councillor Facio is still. Okay, Councillor Jackson?
Your attention, each time that Councillor Vidal calls for a point of order, you don't accept it. Now, right now, beside me, Mayor Allen, excuse me, Councillor Allen, called for a point of order, which is entitled to do, but you accepted it. But last week, under this particular item, the councillor asked for a point of order, and you never acknowledged it. So we need a level playing field here. So in actuality, what happened here is that Councillor Vidal's vote should be in the positive because she was not given due process. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll respond to that. Councillor Vidal was ruled out of order by the mayor. The mayor has the authority to preserve order and decide points of order. The mayor has the authority to remove a member of council as per the community charter and our council procedural bylaw.
He does not have the authority to overrule the community charter.
We're not overruling,
Yes, you
Councillor,
are.
the community
I
charter.
have it. I have
Would
it.
the
from my
corporate
email.
officer please like to read? Would the corporate officer please like to read the community charter with the mayor's responsibility? Just order, Councillor. Just let the corporate officer read it off.
Sorry, are you looking for the responsibilities of the mayor?
Expulsion from meetings 133-1, I believe.
Expulsion from meetings, 133 of the community charter, subsection 1, if the person presiding at a council meeting considers that another person at the meeting is acting improperly, the person presiding may order that the person is expelled from the meeting.
That person was expelled from the meeting per section 133. Next, is there any other new business? Councillor Vidal, new business? Business arising, sorry, my apology, business arising from the minutes.
Thank you. I am going to quote from our procedural bylaw, section 6J.
Councillor, can I just ask?
The mayor or
Coun-
presiding member or
Councillor-
any member through
Councillor
the
Vi-
mayor or
Councillor Vidal.
presiding member may call a point of order
Councillor
to the
Vidal,
member who is speaking. When such action is
Councillor
taken, the
Vidal.
mayor or presiding
order,
member
Councillor
shall
Vidal.
immediately suspend debate,
Councillor
and the member
Vidal,
in
you-
question shall refrain from speaking until
Councillor
the mayor
Vidal, if
or
you continue, I
presiding
will
member
remove you from the meeting.
determines the point of order.
Councillor Vidal,
On an appeal of a point of order ruling by a council,
Councillor Vidal, you have been deemed removed from this meeting. Councillor Vidal. Councillor Vidal. Councillor Vidal, you are out of order. Councillor Vidal. Councillor
Mayor,
Vidal, you've
Councillor
been ordered
Vidal,
removed from the meeting.
Councillor Vidal is again disrupting our council meeting. Please
Councillor
do something.
Vidal. Order, please. Order.
I've never seen behavior like this in any council in my life.
Designed to separate and identify the mayor's actions or words as not in alignment with the council's policy or legal form. Secondly, refers to a formal warrant, a member of office to the office of the meeting. The chair cannot arbitrarily censor a councilor, including suspension of councilor's rights for a designated period of time. It must be decided by a motion, seconded, and a vote taken and decided by the majority of council. When municipal council or board seeks to discipline one of its members, inspector, or by limiting or removing the rights, privileges, or influence afforded the member as an elected official for procedural fairness must be a component of the process. Thank you.
Order, please. Order. Please note for the record, Councillor Vidal has been removed from this meeting. Order, please.
Since Mayor Wood, it's not permitted unilaterally.
You're ruled out. You're ruled
Mayor,
out of order.
Can I have equal time to make a lecture and a speech? Now she's instructing staff. Good. Good. Mr. Mayor, I would point out that the staff does not take instructions from Councillor Vidal or any other councillor, only yourself as Chief Executive Officer.
Chair as per the procedural bylaw and Robert's rules of order. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Vidal has been ordered removed from this meeting.
You are ordered removed.
Well, then I guess your only other option is to attempt to have me physically removed, Mayor Wood.
Order.
Mr. Mayor, could you please restore order? Order that woman who is not sitting tonight as a councillor to sit down and behave. I am a councillor and I'm trying to conduct the public's business here, and I'm trying to restore an opportunity for myself and the other councillors to get on with the village business and to prevent this disruption, which has obviously been planned. So please, Mr. Mayor, ignore Councillor Vidal, turn off her microphone, and let's get on with the agenda that we have agreed. Thank you.
Order, please.
I will not be leaving the meeting, and I am present, and my vote will be recorded, or your other option is to have me physically removed.
Councillor Vidal, you have been ordered removed from this meeting. You will continue. Okay, I move for adjournment. Do I have a second there?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to object because I do not believe that we should allow Councillor Vidal to collapse another Harrison Council meeting. I think she should be removed and we should get on with the public's business. That's what we're here for. And that's what I'm prepared to do.
There's a motion on the table to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second there?
I'll second that for discussion purposes, but I do approve of the meeting being disrupted and the Councillor Vidal being allowed to collapse another of our council meetings.
Order. So I'm going to call the question. All in favor of adjournment? Opposed? Motion fails with Councillor Jackson. Sorry. It's a tie vote. Motion fails with Councillor Jackson and Councillor Facio opposed. Next order of business is the consent agenda. Do I have a mover for the consent agenda?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Allen, seconded by Councillor Facio. Any discussion? That's just on receipt. Councillor
Thank
Facio.
you, Mayor. Would I like to remove item page 23, the Harrison Water Sports, for discussion under business arising from the correspondence?
Okay, so we want to remove item 6.
A.
It says A, but
Yeah.
on the agenda there, but I believe it says it should be B. So you want to remove item 6B, which is the email dated April 15th, 2024 from the Harrison Water Sports. Is that correct, Councilor?
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Okay.
What page is that,
Do I have a
Mr. Mayor?
seconder? It's on page 23. The motion on the table is to remove it out of the consent agenda for discussion. So the motion right now is to remove it from the consent agenda. So that was moved by Councillor Facio. Do I have a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Jackson. Any discussion on removing that from the consent agenda? Councillor Allen.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Well, I see a lot of stuff in here about this particular proposal. And I really think we've got more important things to do tonight, and we should get on with it. I don't know how this has even made it to our agenda, because the first step in any such proposal would be the village council deciding to give up some of our public land or tenured land on the lakefront for a commercial enterprise. And we've never done that. So it bothers me that our staff and possibly the ministry staff are considering this when it is such a violation of all the rules about disposal of an interest in public property. They're missing the very fundamental fact that we, the village of Harrison Hot Springs, have a exclusive use tenure on the beach in the lagoon. We built the lagoon, and we did not build it for the purpose of somebody coming along and building a marina on it. That's not why we have a beach in Harrison. There are marinas over on the east side of the village at Rockwell. There's quite an extensive one in front of the hotel. And that is the way our planning has been for many years, and I believe should continue to be. To suddenly open up the beach to commercial marinas here or elsewhere would be such a fundamental travesty of planning that it ought not to have had any consideration by staff or by council, and I'm thoroughly opposed to discussing it any further. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Facio.
Thank you, Mayor Wood. Well, I think the idea was to discuss this in business arising from the correspondence, but as Councillor Allen has just carried on, I think all they're asking for here is to arrange a meeting with the staff and council to look at this from a broader point of view. They've made several changes, and they're referring to the water lot. They're not referring to the lagoon, the beach area, or the walkways. The lagoon is the water lot, which is provincial. I believe they've applied for a tenure on the water lot. So it's a long way to go, but I think they should be given the opportunity by mayor and council to have a sit down and discuss this further at a meeting that would be preferable for the mayor to arrange with our staff at some point.
So Councillor Facio, I'm going to stop you there because the motion on the table right now is just to remove item A.
I know, but as Councillor carried on.
You're going to get your opportunity.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion on that? So the motion on the table here is to remove item 6. I'm going to call it B, which is the email dated April 15th, 2024 from the Harrison Water Sports out of the consent agenda. Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes with Councillor Allen opposed. So back to the main motion here, which was, there was a motion for receipt of the consent. Is it receipt or approval of the consent agenda to the corporate officer?
For receipt, please.
Receipt.
Thank you.
So that was moved by Councillor Allen and seconded by Councillor Facio. So I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes with Councillor Allen opposed. So now we've got item 6A, which is the email dated April 15th, 2024 from the Harrison Water Sports. Councillor Facio, do I need another to the corporate officer?
If we're moving on past delegations and petitions and into correspondence, we'll do a motion for receipt of those two items of correspondence and before moving into business arising from correspondence.
Just for clarification to the corporate officer, there was a motion though that passed to remove item 6A out of the consent agenda. So that would be moved to the business arising from correspondence?
Yeah, so that's correct. So it's actually 6 sub Roman numeral 4 there, and A. It's kind of confusing the way our consent agenda is laid out. So that was moved into correspondence. So now we have a correspondence 8A and a correspondence 8B.
So that item has been moved to
8B.
8B. Thank you. Okay. So the delegations, petitions, there are none. So now
Mr. Mayor,
order, please.
before we leave that, does that mean that we're not approving the Logan Lake request for support?
All of those letters were on the consent agenda. So they are voted on as one. If a councillor wishes to discuss an item on there, they must remove it out of the consent agenda, which requires a resolution of council, which is what Councillor Facio did for the Harrison Water Sports. So we are on to items A under correspondence, and we have item A that we're going to deal with first, which is the letter dated May the 15th, 2024 from Fire Chief Janice. Do I have a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Discussion on the fire chief's letter.
Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that the discussion is now redundant, since you have declared a state of emergency, state of local emergency, and dealt with the Sensenet people. This is no longer required. So I think we should move on past it and into the reality that we are getting the Sensenet alarm system in the village and getting it soon. Thank you.
There's still a motion on the table for receipt of correspondence, the letter A, and it was moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. So I'm going to call the question. All in favor of receipt? Sorry, all in favor of receipt? Opposed? Opposed? Nobody was opposed. So that passes unanimously. The next item here is item B, which is the email from April 15th, 2024 from Harrison Water Sports. Is that correct? Yeah, thank you. So do I have a mover for item B now? Councillor Facio, that was yours?
Thank you, Mayor Wood. Yeah, I've already said what I said. I think it'd be
So
appropriate.
Councillor Facio, just to clarify,
Yeah.
we had the motion just to remove it out of the consent. Now I need a motion again if you want to talk about it. So
I'll make a motion.
do you move it?
Do you want to move it into the
No.
business of writing correspondence? Is that the idea? That's what it should be.
Yes. Well, we still haven't received it. I split it up. I confused it here. So it's been split up. So it's not part of the correspondence. Or is it part of it? Go ahead. Corporate officer.
Normally we, council just does one resolution for receipt of all correspondence. Since we already have one for 8A, we could just move a motion for receipt for this item 8B, and then any discussion that would come from that would take place under the next agenda item.
Thank you. So I need a motion then just for receipt of that. So moved by Councillor Facio, seconded by Councillor Jackson. Any other discussion on receipt? Ready to call the question? All in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. There we go into item B, or 9, business arising from correspondence. Councillor Facio.
Thank you, Mayor Wood. I'll just won't repeat what I've already said, but I think it'd be appropriate at some point that a meeting be arranged with the mayor and council and staff to discuss the options that have been presented by this company. As I said, as far as we know, they've applied for a tenure with the province. Till such time that they get that, I don't really suppose it's much point in having a meeting. It's not, it has to happen immediately. They still do operate from the hotel dock under their lease there. So I'm just asking that I'll make a motion that the Harrison Water Sports, that the mayor and council, that staff arrange a special meeting to discuss their proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Jackson. Any further discussion on that motion? Councillor Allen.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to speak against the motion. What seems to be missing in this equation is the reality that we, the council, are the stewards of the publicly owned property in the village. Most of the property we own, and the biggest piece is the 79 acres on Macomb Drive, is titled property, in that the Land Title Office has issued us a title that says, you, the village of Harrison Hot Springs, own this property, you have title. And from that point on, we become the stewards of the property, and our responsibility as council members is to guard that property and protect it from encroachment and from alienation. The same stewardship applies to all of the properties that we hold as tenures from the government. And a tenure, in this case, is a long-term lease. Many, many years ago, before we spent a lot of money on the beach and the lagoon and everything else, we went to the province of BC and said, we would like to have a tenure that gives us the exclusive control and use and ownership of all of the land that lies between the north side of Esplanade right to the Kent-Harrison village boundary, which runs from the marina area to the Harrison River. And we have held that tenure, Mr. Mayor, for maybe 50 years. And in all that time, we have never even contemplated giving any of it up to any commercial enterprise. We do have a tenure that I obtained for the village when I was mayor over the water lot surrounding the old ranger station, and we have agreed to allow the yacht club to use that. We have another tenure for the government dock, which I obtained between Killer's Cove and the Harrison Marina.
Mr. Mayor, that's
And
enough.
those tenures are something that we have a responsibility to protect. I do not understand how this company can waltz in here and say, oh, we want to build a marina on your land, on your tenure, without first coming to us, the village, and asking us if we're prepared to give up any part of our land or tenure. In my brief inquiries into this matter, that has never happened in public anyway, and that needs to happen. If we were ever going to contemplate allowing commercial uses to exist along the lakefront of our beach in Harrison, we are obliged to make that opportunity available, not just to this company, but any company who wants to come in and make a proposal under an RFP to start such a business. We have never done that either. So to my mind, it is grossly insulting to me as somebody with a responsibility for the stewardship of public land to have somebody come in and make the assumption that they can go behind our backs, over our heads, or however they did it, and go to Land's branch and say, we want to take away a big chunk of the village's tenure on Harrison Lake and build a marina. I just do not understand how that can possibly happen in any proper administration. So I'm thoroughly opposed to even discussing this until we, the village council, have made some determination that we're open to commercial uses in that area, which I don't believe we should be. And then the opportunity is made in a proper way to everybody concerned, not just to this company. I don't believe it's proper that we should do this in any way because it's so contrary to our official community plan. It's really a non-starter, and I just don't understand why we're even talking about it here tonight. If we were going to build a marina on the lakefront in this or any other location, we, the village, should be building the marina with a government grant, just like I got a government grant for the floatplane dock. We should be doing it for the benefit of the whole village, not for the benefit of one business who wants to make a buck out of our tourism industry by using public land. So I think it really needs to stop there, Mr. Mayor. It shouldn't be on the agenda, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not here tonight to listen to this gentleman pontificate for 10 or 15 minutes.
Councillor Jackson.
Nobody here has said they're going to do this.
Councillor Jackson.
He's making the assumption that we've already decided to build a marina. That's not true. It is your duty to stop him when he rambles on about nothing he knows nothing about. It's wasting our time.
Order, please. To the corporate officer, can you reread the motion, please? To the corporate officers rereading the motion, thank you. You've been ruled you're out of this meeting, Councillor Vidal. Councillor.
You cannot arbitrarily censor me.
Councillor Vidal. Councillor Vidal.
Cannot censor me without a vote of council. You cannot arbitrarily censor me. That is illegal. Yes.
Order, please.
Now, I have not been really. No.
Order, please. Order. Order, please. Councillor Vidal, you have been ordered removed. Councillor Vidal, you have already been ordered. You've already been removed from this meeting. Councillor Vidal.
Unless you attempt to remove this business.
Order, please. Order, please.
Mr. Mayor, I think it shows great disrespect for you and the corporate officer that Mrs. Vidal is on her feet refusing to allow us to speak or to carry on with the meeting. She's sitting as a civilian tonight. She was a councillor. She's been ruled out of order.
Order. Order, please. Does this council want to continue? Councillor Jackson.
The way I see it, what's happening is that it goes broader than what Councillor Vidal is. It's come very obvious if you can dismiss her, whatever she says, then it's 2 votes to 2 votes. And anything on this item, on this agenda that comes up with any sort of development or to move ahead, it's going to be 2 votes to 2 votes because Councillor Fascia will probably vote in favor and I will, and you two will vote against it. That's the way it's gone. And that's not right. So removing Councillor Vidal here for trying to stand up for her as a female counselor who has done a lot for the
Order,
village.
counselor, order,
That
counselor.
shouldn't happen.
I will move adjournment. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Allen. Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned with Counselor Facio opposed. Counselor Jackson Counselor Jackson did not put his hand up. He was sustained.
Hurry along.
I believe we still have a quorum. Mayor Wood is decided he will not fulfill his role as chairing of the meeting. Therefore, I will make a motion to have our Deputy Mayor Leo Facio chair the remainder of the meeting. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Facio, will you take the chair, please?
Thank you. If there's any more noise from the gallery, unless it's very nice to appreciate what people are doing. Busy agenda here to move forward with. There's lots of folks here this evening. Will you please leave, Councillor?
The meeting is over.
No, we just had a vote.
I want to have a meeting with your group.
The meeting will move forward.
Meeting is.
We've had a meeting. We've had a Councillor Allen, will you please remove yourself? Well, you know, I've done it for more years than you, and you know, well, that's what you say. That's what you say. So, moving forward. Well, from there.
Would you like an escort to your car? We're getting sick of this nonsense. Yeah. Yeah, could we have a meeting, please? You guys move this up there so nothing gets done. Talking to you. I think. Yeah, turn the whole place into a condominium. How about that?